In anime, Valentine's Day isn't about dinner reservations. It's about chocolate, panic, and teenagers acting like handing someone a candy bar is equivalent to proposing marriage. You've got girls staying up all night tempering chocolate like it's a boss fight, boys pretending they don't care while absolutely counting how many gifts they got, and one poor guy who gets nothing and becomes a tragic figure for 24 minutes. Today we're looking at the Valentine's episode, the one where chocolate becomes a confession, an obligation, and occasionally a weapon of mass embarrassment. Why does anime care so much about who gives chocolate to whom? What's the deal with obligation chocolate? And why does White Day in Japan, the sequel holiday that happens on March 14th, rarely get the same spotlight? First, the real-world rules that make anime Valentine's episodes make sense. In Japan, Valentine's Day works almost backwards from the Western version. On February 14th, women give chocolate to men, friends, co-workers, crushes, and partners. On March 14th, White Day, men who receive chocolate are supposed to give return gifts. Articles and explainers note that Valentine's in Japan became a chance for girls to confess feelings through chocolate, sometimes without saying the words out loud, while White Day is framed as the day guys respond or reciprocate. Anime leans into this dynamic hard. Valentine's episodes are all about stress, confession odds, and will I get anything? White Day, if it appears at all, is often quieter, about what the boys choose to give back and what that implies. This is where it gets very anime. Not all chocolate is created equal. The type you give someone carries a social message. Giri choco literally means obligation chocolate. It's usually cheaper, mass-produced candies given out of politeness to male co-workers, classmates, bosses, acquaintances you don't want to snub. It doesn't imply romantic interest. It's about maintaining good social relationships and not making anyone feel left out. Anime uses Giri choco for comedy, protagonists drowning in generic boxes and still wondering if any mean more. Social commentary, girls feeling burdened by having to give it to everyone, and misunderstandings when someone mistakes Giri for the good stuff. Honmei choco is the important one. Literally, true feeling chocolate. This is usually higher quality or homemade chocolate given to someone you actually have romantic feelings for, boyfriend, husband, or crush. Guides and explainers say honmei choco is where girls put the most effort. Handmade recipes, carefully decorated packaging, maybe even rehearsed delivery speeches. In anime, this is the chocolate that matters. The whole plot of a Valentine's episode is often, will she manage to give her honmei choco? Will he realize it's honmei and not Giri? Will someone else intercept it and cause chaos? Over time, fans and culture writers note the rise of tomo choco, friend chocolate. Sweets exchanged between friends, often girl to girl, with no romantic intent, just fun and appreciation. This let girls give chocolate to people they care about without triggering romantic expectations, and anime sometimes shows groups doing big friend chocolate exchanges as a way to de-stress the day. There are even jokey variations, self-chocolate, family chocolate, but Giri versus honmei is where most Valentine's episodes live. Put those elements together and you get a very standard Valentine's episode structure. First act is almost always prep and panic. Girls researching recipes and buying fancy molds, fretting over whether homemade is too obvious, and filling the school kitchen or home with chocolate disasters. Boys, meanwhile, pretend they don't care, but scenes and commentary show them counting past years, worrying they'll get zero, or wondering if a particular girl will give them anything at all. Then comes distribution. Crowded hallways and desks piled with boxes, lines of girls giving out Giri choco to classmates or clubs, the MC trying to act nonchalant while clearly scanning the room for one specific person. Classic comedy beats include boys flexing over how many Giri boxes they got, someone getting so much chocolate it becomes a physical burden, and one unlucky character getting nothing and spiraling about it. The emotional core is the honmei moment. Girl finally corners her crush, hands over chocolate with or without a verbal confession, and either runs away, stays to talk, or gets interrupted at the worst possible second. As one analysis points out, Valentine's in anime is often used as a non-verbal confession tool. The act of giving homemade chocolate is the confession, whether or not "I like you" is said aloud. Writers use this for successful confessions, near misses where someone else interrupts, or miscommunications when the receiver doesn't realize the significance of homemade versus store-bought. You also get anti-Valentine's episodes, characters who hate the commercialism and refuse to participate, protest jokes about Giri choco being a burden, or entire plots about monsters or yokai weaponizing chocolate because anime can't help itself. Critiques and blogs mention that in real life, some women push back against Giri choco as unpaid emotional labor, and a few anime nod to that by showing characters exhausted by the obligation. On paper, White Day, March 14th, is just as important. It's the day men who got chocolate give return gifts. Explainers say White Day gifts are often sweets like cookies or marshmallows, sometimes jewelry or other presents, and typically the value is supposed to be equal or higher than what was received. But as several articles and forum threads point out, anime focuses way more on Valentine's than White Day. Why? Analyses argue that Valentine's carries more narrative tension. It's about the first move, confessions, and the risk of rejection. By White Day, a lot of that drama is already resolved. Relationships are established or rejections have happened, so it's about follow-through, not big reveals. When White Day episodes do show up, they tend to focus on one boy agonizing over the right return gift, show established couples getting a sweet, quiet moment, or resolve loose ends from Valentine's in a more low-key way. So why does anime keep turning chocolate into a crisis? First, it's grounded in real cultural practice. Giri choco, honmei choco, and tomo choco are actual concepts, and the nerves around who gives what to whom are based on real social expectations, especially for students and office workers. Second, it's a perfect story device. Built-in deadline, February 14th. Clear symbolic actions, homemade versus store-bought. Huge emotional stakes from small physical objects. Third, it structures romance. One article notes that Valentine's episodes often become key checkpoints in anime relationships. The moment someone finally acts, or refuses to act, on feelings they've been hiding. In modern shows, you see a mix of sincere Valentine's episodes used for real progress, comedic ones that lean into chocolate chaos and misunderstandings, and meta-aware takes that comment on obligation, gender roles, or how exhausting the whole thing can be. Completely scientific rating, cultural impact, 9 out of 10. Valentine's chocolate episode is a recognized mini-genre in school and romance anime. Annoyance potential, 6 out of 10. When every romance uses the exact same beats, it can feel like copy-paste. Meme longevity, 8 out of 10. From honmei versus Giri jokes to best Valentine's chocolate scene debates, this trope still fills timelines every February. Verdict: anime. Valentine's is anxiety, sugar, and symbolism rolled into one. It turns a box of chocolate into a confession, a social obligation, or a running joke, and sometimes all three at once. As long as characters keep falling in love in Japanese schools and offices, there will always be one episode where everything comes down to who gets which chocolate.